Hello and welcome to a brief demonstration of a first draft of the UML-RT semantics of incremental redefinition in Papyrus-RT. So looking at a very small Papyrus-RT model with one capsule, let's add a couple of ports to this capsule. And we'll let each port be typed by a new protocol. Like so. So now we have two protocols, one for each of our ports. And looking at the details, now let's make one of these a bit more interesting, give it a replication factor, which in UML is implemented as lower and upper multiplicity bounds. And in fact, these are value specifications represented as nested elements in the port, which detail we can look at now, looking at the raw UML representation of this UML-RT model. So looking into the capsule, we see two ports, we see the nested elements. So in fact, here we see the details of one port. It has the name, type, and so on. This one, we see that it has nested elements for the upper and lower multiplicities. So that's good. Now let's go ahead and create a subcapsule that is a new capsule that will be a specialization inheriting the structure of capsule 1. So we'll create a generalization relationship for it, point the general at capsule 1, and now we see a generalization relationship, but also the redefined or the inherited ports as RT redefined elements. So initially, these redefinitions are very simple. They just have exactly the same information, same attributes, all the same details as the ports that they redefine that are inherited from capsule 1, which would seem like a lot of useless noise in our UML model, right? So here it just all looks exactly the same, except of course this is in capsule 2, so things like the qualified name show that distinction because these are in the capsule 2 namespace, but they do show redefinition of the inherited ports. So that's fine. Let's see what this looks like in the UML representation. So here we see that in the UML model, in fact, we have not created any new ports in this capsule. According to UML, of course, these are inherited members, the ports of capsule 1, but we haven't created any actual redefining port elements in capsule 2. So what's going on in the tool? Well, in the tool, in Papyrus-RT, we've created virtual port elements to give us all the details that we need for construction of things like capsule diagrams. So now let's go and tweak some details of one of these redefining ports, like change the replication factor. So now in contrast to the redefined port from capsule 1, this thing has a replication factor 6. And now that is actually an incremental redefinition of that port. So this is information that we need to store and save for future sessions of the tool. So there now, in fact, we have reified this redefining port. So it has the redefined element stereotype pointing at the root fragment. It has, as expected, the redefinition relationship to the inherited port, and it redefines the lower and upper bounds, but no other details, not the type, not the name. And so, of course, the qualified name is blank because there is no name, according to the UML semantics. But the semantics of UML-RT implicitly inherit all those details from the redefined port in capsule 1. So of course, any edit that we might do, we need to be able to undo. this edit of the port replication factors undone, and that edit was the one that caused us to actually create a real port in the UML representation. So that also is undone, as we can see if we save. The editor always has to reload from disk. And now we see that that reification of this redefining port is in fact undone. So for another simple scenario, we'll have a look at changing the type in the redefining port. Drag that window into view here, good. So we'll create a new protocol called protocol 3. So there we can see that it redefines the type of the inherited port, protocol 1. The redefinition is all good. The protocol 3 is there. So let's see what this looks like in the UML view. Yeah, there it is. So now again, we see this port actually now is stored in the model. We see it redefines, as expected, the port in capsule 1. It has the type, but it doesn't change any of the other details. It does have the RT stereotype with the root fragment. That all looks good. Let's make another change to the same port. Let's change the name. Its type is now protocol 3, so let's make the name conform with that. And save. And again, we'll look at the UML representation. Whoops, that's not it. There, capsule 2, good. So here we see the name now is protocol 3. So that name is now no longer blank because we are now redefining the inherited name of this port. But other details like the multiplicity are still inherited. So as before, we can undo that change, and then we can undo the first change that caused us to actually create a real port in the UML model. And there we are. So there you have a brief demonstration of the first steps towards the UML-RT semantics of incremental redefinition in Papyrus-RT. Thank you.